I just got to Zion National Park. I'm out here on the Riverwalk Trail. It's like one of the most popular trails. It's really easy. It goes along the river. It's really beautiful. So yeah, I'm out here with essentially no plan other than I wanted to go camping around Zion. So I'm inside the park today and tomorrow, and then I'm going to be camping around the perimeter in the next week or so. I was able to find a nice camp spot like 20 minutes outside of the park, and it's beautiful out here. The rock formations are so pretty. The sunset just happened and it was just amazing. Right now I'm cooking up some steak and asparagus for dinner, and hopefully I'll have a nice night tonight. I got up very early, got myself a nice parking spot at the visitor center, and now I'm doing this 3-mile hike called the Watchman hike. I'm beating the heat by doing this early in the morning, and I'm getting a really nice payoff of this just beautiful view of the sunrise on the rocks all over the valley. So on my way up here on the trail, it was like one of the worst washboard roads I've ever experienced, just like so bouncy. And so it bounced on my drawer slide attachments, the screw a little bit loose, so now I've got to tighten it up. Good thing it's still sort of attached, because if it got unattached, it's a way bigger pain in the butt to fix. So I just rolled up to this camp spot on the end of one of these mesas, just not far from the Zion Park. And I made friends with this guy named Colby, who is just living out of his little trailer. He just moved down here. He just became a canyoneering guide in Zion a couple weeks ago. So I got to hang out with him last night. He showed me this camping spot, and it is just incredible. This is one of the spots I was going to think about checking out, and I'm so glad that Colby kind of guided me over here. So yeah, he and I just hung out. We just learned about each other's lives, talked about road life. So it's really cool to like meet another person and like share tips and like show him like some of the stuff that I did and I like to do, and like all these little things. So yeah, it was a good time hanging out, and now I have the whole spot to myself today. The other thing that I really enjoy is when it can be warm out, like right now. The high was 90 today, so kind of makes sense why it's so hot. But as soon as the sun sets, it cools down. So I just put on my flannel, I got my long pants on, and I'm gonna get to just look at the stars because there's no clouds in the sky. So they're gonna be lit up tonight. Milky Way is gonna be popping out. So it's gonna be really beautiful out here tonight. I just made my way over to Bryce Canyon National Park. I'm about to start this 3-mile hike down into the canyon and then out. And wow, this is beautiful. I wasn't actually sure what to expect. I did no research on what Bryce Canyon really was all about. And I'm happy I took the extra 2-hour drive to get up here. It's at 8,000 feet elevation versus like 2,000 down in Zion. So it's way chiller up here. I have a nice long sleeve on today. I think the high is going to be 75 versus like 90 degrees normally. So yeah, I'm pretty happy up here. I'm going to be spending the weekend camping in the forest right next door. Thank you, Mac, for giving me this hiking pole. It's helped out a lot with the descents, and I'm sure it's going to help out with going up this canyon again. This is like pretty steep. Yeah, it's really nice out here for sure. So I just learned that these blackened pine trees out here are nature's lightning rods. When they're burnt and blackened on the top, it actually means that lightning struck them, caught them on fire, and now they're just burnt crisp out here. I would not want to be out here when there's a lightning storm, that's for sure. So I was able to go into the national forest next to Bryce Canyon, and within 5 minutes, I was able to find a nice camp spot. So this is just like right about 5 minutes outside of the gate, which is really convenient. So it's a pretty nice camp spot, really, really quiet. There was a breeze earlier, it got knocked down. It's way colder up here at 8,000 feet than down at Zion. So definitely just trying to stay a little bit warmer tonight. I'm gonna go into the park again tomorrow morning and enjoy the time there, maybe do another hike, and then shoot back down elevation tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, this is just like a nice little forested camp spot for tonight. So I got up pretty early. It was a little chilly, so it woke me up, and I realized that I can get to this sunset point pretty quickly before the sun rises. And there's a lot of cloud cover, but it's actually making for a really beautiful sunrise over the canyon. So I'm really pleased that I got up and scooted over here. There's not a ton of people here yet either, which is really nice. I'm setting off on my hike this morning. I'm going to do the Navajo Loop and the Wall Street section. They had just opened Wall Street, so it's kind of a treat in March. Usually they have it closed due to rockfall risk, but I think it's warm enough here for some reason that, yeah, it's looking good. So I just learned from one of the plaques that the way that these hoodoos are carved out is from the snow and the ice. So there's a lot of snow and ice that builds up over the winter, and when it erodes and melts down, it pulls all the loose dirt with it and leaves all these like heavier rock structures out. So that's how these are formed. It's kind of interesting, and it makes a lot of sense, of course. So I was driving on my way back to Zion area, and I remembered this off-road trail that I marked down to potentially camp on the east side of the park before you go through the big tunnel. And so I just jumped onto it. It's only like 1 o'clock, so I got plenty of time to go explore. There's starting to be some like really pretty sights of the rocks on the east side of the park. So if the end of this is a nice overlook, I might just camp here tonight. It's also a little bit higher elevation, so it might be a little bit cooler out. So yeah, I don't know. Right now I'm cooking up some lunch. Got a little bit of steak strips left. I'm gonna make like a little wrap or something, and then I'm gonna continue on the trail. I ended up at a really cool camp spot along this trail. Initially I took a little offshoot and it got super tight. Could tell that not a lot of people traveled on it. And I was getting to the end, and funny story, I was on the phone with my girlfriend Marissa, and I was like, oh, I'm about to reach the end. And she's like, oh, wow, we had cell service this whole time? That's amazing. And then as soon as she said that, cell service dropped. I got to the end. Wasn't really that great of a camp spot, so I had to turn around. I got a bunch of scrapes and pinstripes on the side of my truck, unfortunately, because the trail's pretty tight. But I went down this side, and yeah, this is really nice. This is ultra secluded. I'm above on the east side of the park. So it's a little bit higher elevation, a little bit cooler than I imagined the bottom of the park, but yeah, it's really nice out here.
Running from yourself now, getting what you told. Never let your guard down, anywhere you go. In the right place, at the right time. It's still you sinking through the floor. It's never enough, never enough.
I had such a nice night at this camp spot last night. It was just like really calm. There's a bunch of breeze coming up off of the canyon wall here but just 10 feet off and into the just the normal section is not windy at all. So I got to hang out outside, look at the stars again. Something that I really like about being able to camp out here, like far away from civilization, is there's no noise. All I heard was silence all night long. And then in the early morning, as the sun started to rise, the little birds were coming out and chirping. I'm pretty sure I'm hanging out around the territory of a hummingbird. I keep hearing him buzz around me. I saw him hanging out and buzzing and sitting on some branches near me yesterday. So it's kind of cool hanging out with a hummingbird out here. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the sunrise now, getting some coffee and getting ready for my day. I just arrived to my last camp spot of the trip. It's right off of a paved road, but tucked in off this dirt road a little bit. It's on BLM land, so it's all like free, accessible camping. So yeah, so it's kind of, not exactly my jam, but same time, it's going to be convenient to get out of here tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to go into St. George and go to the mechanic to try to get a check engine light addressed, an evap leak that I've had for a year since Moab. So we'll see how that goes if I'm able to fix it. So just finished eating dinner and now I'm just relaxing. The sun has set, so it's cooling off. There's just some really beautiful clouds up in the skyline here. Of course, I didn't get to see the sunset because I'm in this kind of little canyon area, but it's really beautiful. Now I'm just enjoying hanging out, watching the bats fly around. I really enjoy that for some reason, like seeing them, those little like rats with wings flying around eating bugs. I set up my awning and my little awning wall. I'm gonna have a little movie night out here tonight. My trip is pretty much over. I've had such a nice time. Like I was saying earlier, the wind has been really low this entire time. The weather's been really nice and manageable. I've been able to hang out outside at nighttime, which is a really big treat, being able to look up at the stars. And I've had a lot of good hiking around these national parks. It's been a really good time hanging around there and easy access to the parks. Every camp spot I've been at has not been a dud. And I met a friend along the way too. So it was a good time. I can't wait for the next trip, and I'll be looking forward to doing that next.